Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations, a weekly podcast focusing on e-commerce topics featuring interviews with prominent people in the e-commerce space.
Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations by Practical E-Commerce. I'm Kerry Murdoch. Most every e-commerce merchant either uses QuickBooks or is at least familiar with it. There's a new 2010 version of that program that includes new document management, online banking, and other features. To discuss QuickBooks 2010 and other Intuit products, we're joined by Alex Hood, Product Management Leader for QuickBooks Desktop for Windows. Well, Alex, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Alex, QuickBooks 2010, it's been out for several months now. Our listeners, as you know, are e-commerce merchants. What are the new features and improvements to that version that could interest our listeners?
Well, QuickBooks 2010 is focused on three major things. We understand that bookkeeping and accounting isn't the most exciting part of a small business owner's life, so we try to save them time, save them money, and allow them to get back to what small business owners know and love, which is doing their business. There are a couple of key features that I'd highlight here. The first is called Company Snapshot. This is a customizable report that displays a really just drop-dead simple view of a company's business and state of business. So this is a kind of the back of the baseball card statistics of what you need to know about where your company stands today. There's also something called the Report Center. The reports are some of the favorite features of our QuickBooks users because after users enter data into QuickBooks, they want to get some kind of insights about how their business is doing. This Report Center arranges the reports in a really easy-to-use way. So if I've got a question about how my business is doing or how a vendor is interacting with me or about a certain customer, it's super simple to just go to this Report Center and get the information that I need.
Give us some examples of some of those reports.
So there are reports around receivables and reports around payables. There are inventory stock reports. Your general P&L. It starts with the highest level reports that we've all encountered when running our business, and then inside the reports you can drill down and sub-reports open. So, for instance, if you have a report that deals in your P&L, you can double-click on an aspect of that report, and a new report will spawn that drills into a certain invoice that's represented on the P&L, for instance. There's one more cool feature I wanted to mention called document management. Inside of QuickBooks is where you keep all of your invoices and sales receipts and information about your customer. We've added this little paper clip that you click in QuickBooks that allows you to attach all the interesting documents associated with transactions or customers. So this is interesting for instance, an architect who invoices a customer can now attach the blueprints associated with the plan, and now that's all documented and is easy to find in QuickBooks. So when that customer calls again, now I know about the financial transaction, but I also can double-click and learn more about the specific blueprints that I offered that customer.
Does that work for, say, invoices that customers pay, payables?
Sure does.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's handy. Our listeners, being e-commerce merchants, they're much more comfortable with doing business online generally. Do you have any sort of automated link to a customer's bank account? So if a customer wants to pay bills, for example, without physically cutting checks, is that something you guys can help them with?
We certainly do. We offer bill pay features through QuickBooks. There's online banking functionality within QuickBooks, so you don't have to go to your online bank and then do a bunch of double entry to get that data into your QuickBooks. So we have taken some steps to allow for bill payment and to make QuickBooks really your single stop for all of your financial transactions.
Our listeners, again, are, of course, e-commerce merchants. They all deal with inventory for the most part, unless they drop ship, which most of our listeners don't drop ship. They're managing inventory. Some of them are managing inventory across multiple channels. For example, they may sell a product on their own e-commerce site. They also may sell products on Amazon. They may sell products on eBay. So very complicated inventory management features. What sort of inventory management does the new version offer merchants?
So we make it pretty easy inside QuickBooks to track your inventory so that you don't overbuy and you're making sure that your back orders are in place. You can indicate reorder points, and it gives you a good sense of when it's time to reorder. There are some specific functionality that's kind of interesting. One's called assemblies. So I have one customer who creates model trains, and instead of having to track each of the parts of the model train, he has an assembly that is the train that's made up of 50 to 100 parts. So he can track his inventory levels to create that specific train or that specific assembly. One thing I want to mention around inventory is that we have a developers network that is where about 90,000 members create software that runs on top of QuickBooks. So we have an app center now that is part of QuickBooks, and there are a lot of solution providers there who are providing inventory functionality that goes above and beyond what QuickBooks offers by itself. There's a lot of flexibility there in tracking your inventory.
So merchants that are interested in looking at those third-party solutions, third-party apps that bolt on to QuickBooks, where do they go to see what's available there?
They can go to workplace.intuit.com. Mm-hmm. They can go into QuickBooks and click our App Center, or they can Google the Intuit Developers Network.
It's a handy way to lead into the next question, which revolves around APIs, application programming interfaces for merchants. So merchants typically use a third-party shopping cart, either a hosted shopping cart or a licensed shopping cart. Most of those carts do not have accounting functions, and most of our merchants, I suspect, ultimately use your product in some fashion. So some of them still double enter transactions. So they'll when an order comes in, they'll sit down and enter it into your software. And they may also enter it into, say, the UPS or FedEx interface if they use one of those two shippers. My question for you is, what can you suggest to the merchants that are listening to this to help them expedite all that? Expedite getting information from a cart to your program and to a shipping type program for orders.
I personally spend a lot of time with customers, and double entry is one of the most infuriating, frustrating things that I see out there. So this definitely resonates with me, and it's a problem that we're always trying to get better at solving. There are two solutions that I would call out specifically. The first is you'd want to make sure that your shopping cart or your payment provider allows for the export of an IIF file. That allows the transaction details to be pulled out of whatever system that is and imported into QuickBooks, which saves a lot of time. So we have Intuit websites Intuit Websites is an application where small businesses can create their own websites, and there's shopping cart functionality there too. I know specifically that they offer an IIF file coming out of their platform. PayPal also offers a download of its transactions in an IIF format. For users who are looking for shopping cart functionality, I'd check out payment.intuit.com. And that's where you can find our own shopping cart functionality, where you know that the best integration between a shopping cart and QuickBooks can occur.
Any chance that Intuit's ever going to develop its own shopping cart?
I can't comment too much on what we're thinking about, but I'd stay tuned on that one.
Okay, fair enough. Mobile. Let's shift gears just for a sec, Alex, on mobile. Many merchants are interested in mobile commerce, all facets of mobile commerce, from their stores rendering properly on mobile devices to processing mobile payments, etc. And I'm wondering if you have a mobile version of your program.
So for QuickBooks Desktop, right now we do not have a mobile version. For our QuickBooks Online solution, which is our SaaS-based version of QuickBooks, we do. It's a mobile browser-based solution. But let me tell you, this space is evolving quickly, and we're doing our best to react to it. When we asked our customers a couple of years ago, would you want to do bookkeeping, accounting-type functions on your mobile phone? The response was, gosh, not really. I can't even imagine that. And this year when we asked them, we got a completely different response. So there's definitely demand for a mobile application, and it is something that we are focused on quite a bit internally. So again, I'd have to say stay tuned and look forward to some exciting things.
Okay. You mentioned the online version there, Alex. I've experimented with that on occasion, and it certainly seems interesting. Does it work? Does it work with PCs and Macs and with all popular browsers?
It does. It's a bit device independent, so it doesn't matter if you're on a Mac or a PC. It supports Safari, Firefox, Chrome, IE, all the main browsers. So it's a great option for small business owners who need access to their books anywhere and anytime. So for the small business owner who likes to really do their business in Starbucks, and we see those quite a bit, QuickBooks Online is a great solution for them.
And it'll work. It's cross-platform, cross-browser.
The data is in the cloud, and it's a browser-based solution, so it doesn't really depend on if you have an IBM or if you have a Mac.
I was thinking the instructions said it's IE, Internet Explorer, and Firefox only for a PC, but that's not right.
I think we've just expanded to allow for more browser functionality.
All right.
So now we're able to support Safari, Firefox, Chrome, and IE.
Okay. Alex, we've got just another minute or two left here. E-commerce merchants are those that are listening to this. Anything else on your mind for them today?
Just want to mention that I totally get that what we are solving for at QuickBooks is the part of small business owners' lives that they hate. So what's actually nice for me is I like to go out and visit our customers and see how we can take the pain of this sometimes boring but necessary task of managing your finances, and what can we do to solve some small businesses' pains there. We're really focused on allowing a small business to get back to what they know and love and how they make money. And we're tuning QuickBooks every day so that we can save small businesses money by giving them better insights to all the great information that they've entered into QuickBooks, and save them time with these tasks that seem onerous so that they can get back to selling more product or spend more time with their kids, because that's what's really important.
Okay. Well, for purposes of our listeners, we've been visiting with Alex Hood. Mr. Hood is Product Management Leader, QuickBooks Desktop for Windows. For listeners that want to learn more about the new version of QuickBooks or about QuickBooks generally, the URL, of course, is quickbooks.com. And Alex Hood, Product Management Leader with QuickBooks, we want to thank you for your time today, sir.
Thanks very much, Kerry.
Thank you.
That's That's all the time we have for this week's e-commerce conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tune in next week for another new episode.